When I was 10 years old, I was in a wheelchair. You think I've not struggled in life? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is really close to my heart and I'm actually so excited to film this for you guys. I put some stuff up on Instagram and I started to go off into like a low-key rant, and I was like, actually, do you know what, I'm gonna hold this, I'm gonna stop this here, and I'm gonna make a video talking about this in particular. So I do have a little notebook here with all my like thoughts and stuff just written down for me to talk to you guys about. But before we get into this, I just want to stop and say that if you do enjoy this video, please give this video a thumbs up. It really makes a big difference and it helps me out a lot. Also, if you could please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you believe in the content that I'm posting and you like what I'm about, I would really appreciate all of the support, and that is one of the biggest ways that it can really make a big difference to me. So thank you guys so much in advance. Also, just a quick plug, go ahead and follow my Instagram. I've actually been posting on there a lot lately. I post every day. I am active on my stories and I've been putting a lot more effort into that. So if you don't follow me already, go ahead and check it out. But anyway, I'm gonna stop and now I'm going to let you watch the video. Okay, so I wanted to do this video in honor of Mental Health Awareness Week, which is coming to a close now. Those of you guys that are new to my channel or don't know that much about me and what I stand for, mental health is one of the biggest things that I talk to you guys about and use my platform for. I'm a massive advocate for mental health awareness, and I've had like my own personal journey with it as well, which I'm sure you guys know because I've put it everywhere. So I wanted to touch on the fact that this year's mental health awareness theme, if you didn't know, is kindness. And do you know what, it all just kind of fell into place really perfectly, because so I was scrolling on Instagram and I came across a quote, and I'm gonna read it out to you actually. So this is the quote that basically led to the development of this entire video. So I will post it here anyway so you can see, but I'll read it out to you. Understand this: you can sound confident and have anxiety. You can look healthy but feel like shit. You can look happy and be miserable inside. You can be good looking and feel ugly. So be kind, because every person is fighting a battle you know nothing about. And you know what? I think that that is such a beautiful quote, and I think that it lays down so many things which are so important and really need to be enforced and remembered. So that's why I entitled this "Why You Shouldn't Be Judging a Book by Its Cover." And I've decided to go into a bit more detail discussing that concept, and I'm going to talk to you guys about a lot of examples to do with myself, so that you can kind of get an idea of me as an example of a person who you might make assumptions about. Anyone, whether it's you or a general person, seeing me on the street, follow me on Instagram, seeing me on YouTube, you may make assumptions about me, and I just want to show an example of how a lot of the time you can be very wrong and you don't know what someone is dealing with behind closed doors or what a person is actually like. So that is what I am going to be sharing with you guys today. So I'm going to start off by saying you actually would not believe the number of people that they've actually directly said these assumptions to me, okay? This is not me like thinking that they think this about me. People have directly said things to me like, oh my god, you like never have a bad day. How do you never have a bad day? Like, you're always so happy. Like, wow, I wonder what it must be like to literally never have bad days. Sorry, you think I don't have bad days? I understand. So from my personality, I'm a very smiley person. I laugh a lot. I have a very like positive mindset, and that's something that I've worked on, and which is why I have it now. But people make so many assumptions because I am that way, just to think that I don't have bad days. Everyone has bad days. Just because you're a happy person, you're a smiley person, doesn't mean there's not something else below the surface. It's how you respond to it, it's how you choose to deal with that. And that's a separate video which I'm going to go into detail about in a different video. But it's how you respond to these events that happen in your life. And just because I choose to take on a positive mindset to whatever gets kind of thrown my way, doesn't mean that things aren't thrown my way. believe me, believe me, believe me, they are thrown my way, but it's how I choose to deal with them. But having said this, after meeting me for the first time, a lot of people just assume that I don't have struggles, I don't have bad days, I don't have days where I feel down, and that's not the case. Another thing, and I think this example is very important because I talk about this a lot on my channel, and it's about how to acquire confidence and how to grow within yourself to have that self-love and self-confidence and self-esteem, and just to project yourself as a confident individual in general. And I feel like I can talk about topics like that with you guys because I know in myself that I've had my own journey with confidence, and I have not been a confident person. I did not used to be a confident person at all, but it's come to my attention that people don't realise this about me, and a lot of people that know me personally as well have said to me, but you've always been confident, like you've always been that confident person. And do you know what? That actually baffles me because I'm not. And it's crazy to me that I appeared that way. But again, it's the same thing. Just because a person appears confident does not mean that they have confidence within themselves or are confident people. I want to make that so clear. Another thing that happens a lot is people say, oh, but you do YouTube. What do you mean you struggle with confidence? Of course you don't struggle with confidence. You're in front of a camera all the time. Look how comfortable you are talking to a camera. Like, I do understand it takes a level of confidence to do such a thing. I completely agree. But just because you're able to do that doesn't mean that you are a confident person. So for example, with me, I have always struggled with confidence, and I feel like when I say this, people are like, yeah, whatever. No, seriously, I genuinely have struggled with self-confidence for my entire life. The only time I can say to you, honestly, hand on my heart, that I have started to acquire the confidence I've always wanted has been in the past year. Guaranteed. Prior to that, oh god, oh my god, I was not confident. So when I was on YouTube with you guys, you probably had this impression of me thinking I was such a confident person. It was not true. I never tried to like fake it to make it seem like I was confident. That's my personality. I have a very bubbly and loud personality, but that personality again doesn't mean that I'm a confident person or have self-confidence about things to do with myself. Does that make sense? So the camera thing, my dad and my brother are photographers. Our family business is photography, if you guys didn't know. I literally have grown up in front of a camera. My dad has been going through the home videos recently and he sent me so many, and I've seen how I'm at the age of literally like not even one, and my dad is filming like everything, like constantly in front of the camera. So logically, like that kind of makes sense. Seeing that, I'm like, oh rah, like no wonder I'm like comfortable being in front of a camera and things like that. And to be honest, I think it also ties in with the fact that from a young age I used to perform a lot on stage. I used to do a lot of stuff on stage, and I think that helps me be able to be in front of a group of people and be myself or project what I need to project. It doesn't mean that I am so confident with what I'm saying, what I'm doing, how I look. Does not mean that at all. It just means I'm comfortable in that particular context. I used to have such low confidence that for the last, I think 4 years in a row, my New Year's resolution was to become more confident, Like honestly, ask my mum, like ask anyone that would know that. Every year, my New Year's resolution was to be more confident in myself. I used to seek validation from other people all the time. Do you know how long it used to take me to make a decision? Any decision. I couldn't make decisions. Do you know what? That's still something I'm struggling with, I'm not even gonna lie. But I would rely so much on another person because I didn't have the confidence enough to make that decision or to do that thing. Because I wouldn't have confidence in myself. But it's something that I've actively worked on and moved towards, and I've put in a lot of effort to get to the place where I think I am now. And don't get me wrong, I would not call myself a 100% confident person, not at all. There are so many things I'm still struggling with that. But my point is, I came from somewhere a lot worse. So people seeing me thinking I've always been this way is not true. Another example, I've had a lot of people say to me, so whenever I talk about bad skin or anything, people literally stop and say to me, you have no business talking about what it's like to have bad skin. Look at your skin, you don't have bad skin. What an assumption again. Little did these people know, when I was 12, I couldn't even move my mouth to speak. I couldn't even talk when I was at school because my eczema around my mouth had got so bad, it had got infected. The doctors at this point still didn't even know that it was eczema because it was so far gone and such a bad case of it that they didn't know what it was. So I went for years without any treatment, and for so many years this area around my mouth has been unbelievably bad. Still to this day, I cannot wear foundation around this area because it's still that sensitive. But it got to a point where things were passing off of my face from eczema, and people say that I have no business being able to talk about having bad skin because I don't know what it's like to have bad skin. Of course I know what it's like to have bad skin. What makes you think that I don't? Just because in this moment it may look like I don't have bad skin doesn't mean it's not something I've struggled with in the past. Don't make that assumption that it's always been this way. I've just built up to get to this place. But people seeing me now would think, oh, you've never struggled with bad skin. It's something I struggle with all the time, but it's just not something that you necessarily see when you first look at me. Another thing, I have so many allergies that the smallest thing can freak my skin out. Like how loads of people can do DIY face masks, or like they can just go and buy new skincare and not have to scrutinize the ingredients before using it on their skin. Go to buy makeup and actually just buy makeup to use it. I'm that person that stands there in the aisle and has to Google every thing that is an ingredient on that product to be able to know if my skin is going to freak out. The only reason why it doesn't freak out as much now is because I am so careful with what I put on my face. If I were to go out and use what the average person uses, my skin would not be in the position that it is now. So it's again about the time and effort and the work that I put into it, which is why it's in the condition it is in now. Another thing, I got loads of these guys, another thing, the amount of times I've been in a situation where I've been like at work or something and we've all been just having like a little discussion about food or whatever, and colleagues have said something like, talking about like trying to eat clean or like trying to eat well or a diet or something, and I'm like, oh, trust me, like I know the struggle. And people turn around and they say, what do you mean? Like you can't talk about needing to watch what you eat. Or if they catch me saying something like, oh, I really want chocolate but like I shouldn't, whatever. And people are like, are you mad? Like you can eat anything and it would never, like no one would ever know because you would not gain weight. Like don't even act like you understand the struggle. Again, what an assumption. I was overweight until the age of about 17. Not a lot of people would know that either. First meeting me, you would think that I probably have been more on the skinny side my whole life. Not at all. 17 was not even that long ago. And my weight fluctuates week by week. If I just take 1 week of eating whatever I want and with just dietary changes, lifestyle changes, honestly, you guys would even notice a difference in my weight. It fluctuates so easily. So I do have to be on top of it, and I do have to be aware of what I'm eating and making sure that I'm putting good things into my body. And my last example is a lot of people look at me and, do you know what? When the first person said this to me, my jaw dropped. I could not believe that someone had actually made this kind of assumption about another person. Someone actually said to me, look at you. You don't know what it's like to struggle. You've had no struggles in life. You've clearly had an easy life with everything handed to you. Can you believe that another person said that to someone? That kind of assumption is unbelievable. As I said, I have a very positive attitude. I smile a lot. I have a very loud personality and I'm very like enthusiastic and all of that. Why does that mean? Why does that make you think that I've not struggled in life? A lot of the time, the people that are the happiest and seem to be in such a good position are because they've actually dealt with the most in life. It doesn't mean that they've not had struggles to go through. For example, when I was 10 years old, I was in a wheelchair. You think I've not struggled in life? I was falsely diagnosed with leukemia for 6 months. My family all thought that I had cancer when I was 10 years old. For 6 months, they thought I had cancer. I couldn't walk for years. For years, I struggled to walk. I needed crutches, I needed a wheelchair. That's a whole separate story, but the point is, you're saying that from looking at me, you say I've not struggled. And it links. Why was I overweight? I was overweight because I could barely walk for so many years. And you say that, oh, well, you clearly don't need to watch your weight. Actually, I do. Actually, I do. It's something that I need to be aware of because of the things that I've dealt with in life. I know what can happen. I know the way that my body can react. But my point is, I overcame those obstacles. All those things I listed, they were all struggles that I had in the past in my life. And that is why I'm in the position that I'm in now. But having said that, none of those things that I mentioned are issues I no longer have to worry about. None of them. In terms of my skin, I literally haven't worn makeup for the last 4 days because I had a reaction to a makeup look that I did the other day. This is my first time wearing makeup because of that, and my skin was an absolute mess. So yes, I dealt with bad skin in the last week. The confidence thing, if I tell you, listen, the amount of times I need to look myself into a mirror and say, listen, you're a bad bee, you've got nothing to worry about, you got this, you're confident, because I need to hear a pep talk, because I struggle. When an event actually happens where I need to be confident, I buckle, naturally. Third one, weight. I mentioned my weight fluctuates very, very, very easily, so I need to stay on top of it. And finally, the wheelchair thing. My knees, my legs are still not perfect. It's something I struggle with still. I've actually had to stop my home workouts for the moment because I'm struggling with knee pain. Like, it's still something that I am dealing with. But when you look at me, you wouldn't know that all these things are things I've had to deal with in the last week. So just because someone appears to be a certain way does not mean that that is what it is. You guys have followed me, you've watched, I'm very open, I talk about a lot, but you wouldn't necessarily know the things that I've just said to you. You don't know the struggles that I've dealt with. It's because of struggles in a person's life that allows them to be who they are now. It's because of those struggles and because of their past that they're in a better position. Not because they've not had a past, because they're in a better position for it. So, what I want to say is, you do not know what battle a person is facing. So don't make assumptions when you meet someone that their life is easy, that they have no struggles, that they've had an amazing day just because they may seem like they've had a good day. Times like Mental Health Awareness Week is to help us be able to acknowledge the fact that we don't always know what's going on with a person. Even someone that could be the closest person in our life, we still don't really know what's going on with them. So the moral of the story is be kind, be kind, be kind, because you never know what a person is going through, and you need to be sensitive to that. You're not always going to understand it, you're not always going to know about it, but you can assume that there is something going on behind closed doors, which should lead you to be more positive and be kinder to people. So that is basically everything that I wanted to say. I hope that this wasn't too much of like a rant for you guys. I just felt like it was really important to draw parallels to myself because I'm the only example that I can give, really. So I hope that you found it useful to kind of see an example of how assumptions about a person are not, it's not it. So I really hope that this kind of helped to shift your perspective maybe a little bit. That's what I wanted to kind of achieve, and hope that you'll be a little bit more mindful than you already are when you're talking to people, or when you see a person on the street, or you see someone when you're scrolling on Instagram who seems like Instagram, you know, them Instagram people, like when you see them, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So be sensitive to that. Anyway guys, I'm gonna stop rambling, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you are all staying positive and staying safe, and I hope that you felt enlightened this mental health week, and I hope that you've taken something away from this. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I love you all so much. Stay safe, stay home, look after yourselves and your families, and I will see you all next time. Mwah! Bye guys.